Yeah. Everybody ready? That clock is still a little bit slow without it. So, you ready? We'll open this meeting with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Smith, for the prayer.
Lord, we thank you for the right and the blessing of gathering here for the well-being of the city of Libby and the surrounding area. We ask for your wisdom and your purposes to be in action as the city business is carried out tonight. Also ask for your help in the planning for upcoming events in the city this summer. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. A roll call, please.
Mayor Williams?
Here.
Councilor Berger?
Here.
Councilor Burke?
Here.
Councilor Zimmerman?
Here.
Councilor Culp?
Here.
Councilor Smith?
Here.
Councilor Taylor?
Here.
This completes roll, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Welcome everyone here. Welcome those online. Thank you for joining us this evening. Charlotte is sitting in for Leanne today, who is celebrating her birthday today. So Charlotte will be taking minutes for us today. And thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to approve the minutes for regular council meeting 1678 held June 2nd.
Make a motion to approve City Council minutes 1677.
Second.
78?
77.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. 77, June 2nd. Okay. Any, huh?
I'd say 78.
That's what I thought.
Mine as well.
So it'd be 70,
They do.
78.
They do.
So, we'll approve the minutes for meeting 1778. 1670. Oh boy, let me put my glasses on. I'm sorry. 1678. That amend your minutes?
Yes.
Your motion? Okay. Does anyone have any corrections, additions, or comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll open it for public comment. Anyone have any public comment on the minutes meeting 1678? Any public comments for meeting 1678? Public comments? Then all in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are passed. Okay, department heads. Mr. Sykes, administrative report.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, just a quick one. The painting of the stripes on Mineral will start tomorrow morning. The pavement's staying hot long enough now, so they're going to start blocking off down at the end of the gut and then working their way south starting tomorrow. They're going to have one block at a time barricaded off, and it's just going to be long enough for the paint to dry so it can be driven on. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be painting throughout town. Fireman's Park, we just had somebody put PCs all over the walls again today in the toilet, so that's the second time in the last 4 business days it's happened. So right now we just locked the doors for the day, we cleaned it out, locked the doors, and we're going to have some discussions tomorrow on how to try to take care of this problem that's happened during the daylight when people are all around it's happened. And that's the quick report, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Committee reports, budget, which will have a meeting on Wednesday at noon. Building, cemetery parks.
Nothing to report.
You already did the fire report. Light streets and sidewalks.
We have a meeting on the 27th
Okay.
at noon.
Okay. Ordinance has parking on right-of-way, which is on the agenda. And there's nothing water, sewer, or wildlife. And the county health board got on here by mistake. So there is nothing to report there since they had their meeting in May and it's already been reported on. So that brings us to items not on the agenda. To ensure that everyone understands how to engage in this public proceeding, there is a dedicated public comment period, which is next on our agenda, and this is the time for the public to comment on any matter that is not on tonight's agenda, but is within the jurisdiction of the Libby City Council. This is a comment period, not a question and answer period. Each person is limited to 3 minutes. If you have comments, If you have comments on a topic not on the agenda, step to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comment. So are there any public comments on items not on the agenda? Any public comments? Any public comments? Okay. He's advising. Okay. Step to the podium, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Make your comments.
My name is Julie Cornwall. I live at 35 Ray Avenue. I'm here regarding the property at 25 Ray Avenue, the corner of Ray and Mahoney, which Mahoney, the major street getting into the high school. Basically, I brought pictures of what the property looked like 2 years ago when I moved in, and pictures of how they are using it as a junkyard, etc. now. Regarding ordinance 808010, I'd like to leave this with you. I would request that each and every one of you drive by the property, take a look at it, and see if action can be made on getting it cleaned out.
Okay. Thank you. Any other public
The
comments?
first 2 pictures are what it looked like. The rest of them are junk and stuff.
Any other public comments? Mr. Orr?
DCR 1117 Nevada Avenue. In a case like was just discussed, the County Health Board is actually empowered to deal with a situation like that if it is a public health hazard. So I would urge you to check the
I
county
checked
health.
with them, they told me to go to the police department. The police department told me cars are registered. They didn't look for trash, they didn't look for junk,
Okay.
etc.
That's called the runaround.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Then seeing none, then we will move on to new business. The first order of business is to approve the new water agreement with International Paper. Alan Payne is here. He has represented us all these years in trying to bring IP back to the table. This is the basically the 2010 agreement with a few updates. Alan, do you want to say something? He did put out a memo.
A follow-up from the last meeting where I was hopeful we'd have a final agreement soon, and we did. It's been a long slog. I gave to the mayor a one sheet to try to summarize what's gone on the last 25 years or so. But hopefully you had the opportunity to review that. If you've got any questions here about the agreement, I think this is the best agreement the city could possibly have. It's better than I think it's a little bit better than even the 2010 agreement. So.
Okay. Does the council have any comments or questions for Mr. Payne? Do appreciate you sticking with us all these years.
Yes, I appreciate the efforts, sure.
Okay.
For the citizens of Libby.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the new water agreement with International Paper.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Again, I'll ask if you have any comments or questions before I open it for public comments. Okay. Then I will open the floor for public comments regarding the IP water agreement. Any public comments? Mr. Orr?
Actually, because I know you won't answer questions, The fact sheet that you put out did not supply a lot of facts, Madam Mayor, so I'm submitting my comments in writing.
Okay.
Because this has been going on so long and you're committing us to 20 years without really giving us any information about what you're doing. That's not how government's supposed to work.
Okay, any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Are you going to read
Any
my
other public
comments before you
comments?
vote?
Any other public comments? I'll pass them around if you'd like.
DC, would you read them?
Can I
You can read them in 3 minutes.
What's that?
You can read them in 3 minutes.
Let me see if I- Yeah, I can read them. DCR 1117 Nevada Avenue, please consider these comments. Mayor has issued a fact sheet that contains omissions and errors which need to be transparently presented to the public before a binding vote of council. It's highly irregular, especially given the 5.5-year span of secret dealings which started with a legally binding unanimous vote in 2019 of council to search for trusted legal representation. This vote revolved around the EPA OIG investigation of the mishandling of EPA grant B96803-401, which shook public trust in the attorney of record in the 2010 settlement. Search for new legal counsel stayed on the unfinished business portion for an inordinate amount of time and was eventually dismissed without any vote of council. Mayor Teske said Councilman Duffy had rescinded the motion. That cannot happen after a legally binding vote. Public trust requires a forensic audit of the funds run through that attorney from 2010 to 2020 in light of the problems with the administration of that contentious grant. Mishandling of the settlement shortchanges those actually affected by the pollution. The well ban has enriched the city already, who source their water from Flower Creek, not the aquifer. The city is not the injured party in the issue. The residents affected are. The city raised water rates on the claim that IP had quit paying the settlement. That claim would be negated by retroactive payments, requiring reimbursement to ratepayers based on fraudulent rate increases. Groundwater use restrictions will further give the city the ability to ban wells outside city limit with no benefit to those who have to abandon their wells. That would entail an illegal government taking. Council needs to clarify and inform those citizens outside city limits that city intends to take their property rights away. There are other concerns. One that needs further clarification. Councilman Taylor has been on the negotiations committee since its inception, giving occasional reports saying that IP won't talk to him. But we need to know why he was replaced by county resident Chris Noble in the only round of productive negotiations. I believe Mr. Noble's involvement in the County Port Authority lawsuit initiated by Dan Torgeson needs to clear the courts before the residents of Libby submit it to an agreement negotiated in secret by a county resident.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? I am going to correct something. I don't know where you got Chris Noble as being involved in any negotiations, because he was not. And
So why was Hugh pulled off the committee?
okay, I'm not going to get in it
Of
with you.
course you're not.
No, not.
Yeah.
Okay, if
Secret
there are
negotiations.
any other public comments, then if there aren't, we'll bring back to the table. Does any of the council people have any comments or questions at this point?
Well, hopefully for some of the new members, reading a little bit of the history, you understand, the agreement that was in place and the reason for it, and certainly receiving this lump sum that we're going to get, I would think we could consider different things for how to utilize it, but I'm just very thankful that IP's changed horses and got back on the train with us.
Yes. Any other comments? Then all in favor of the motion to approve the agreement?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agreement is approved. Thank you, Alan, very much for hanging in there with us.
My pleasure.
Okay, that brings us to the Riverfront Blues Festival, but I don't see Elida here, so we will move that to the next agenda. She had asked for this agenda, but then she had a wrong date and she never responded to the correct date. So we'll move on to approving the street recommendation to abandon the city-owned right-of-way, discontinuing and vacating Colorado and Kootenai Streets and adjacent alley. I want to be clear about this. If you vote in the positive at this time is a vote to move on to the abandonment process, which was front on your paperwork that was put in the agenda. It involves a public hearing, it involves public notice, but there seemed to be not what, and I couldn't tell what the feeling of the council was. And before we go to that process and procedure, I thought we needed a better feeling of whether or not you are actually agreement to abandon that. I did put out a lot of paperwork with the agenda, going back to the original request, doing some, I did some minutes from some of the meetings, but the important papers are the ones at the very end, which have been put together by Mr. Sykes, and he will walk you through each of those pieces.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. If you look at slide 1, the Suitor Pilgrim abandonment requested, the original request was to buy Colorado, would go to the Suitors, and then Kootenai Street and the alley would be divided 50-50 with the adjoining property, which are owned by the Pilgrims at this time. After working with the Suitors on that, we found out that the Pilgrims want nothing to do with it, that piece of property, so we went ahead and just geared it directly towards going to the Suitors on that. The Pilgrims would have to do some paperwork to be filed with the clerk of courts, of course, to make sure that's good. So slide 2, what I did is I kind of broke down the current infrastructure for the area. Probably the biggest thing you can see through here is that power lines going right through the center of the Suitors property, which is in green, and Colorado Avenue and Kootenai Street, which are in the blue there, making the property, most of it unbuildable onto that property. The city services do run, the sewer main runs right down in front of it. The water main does stop there. It's before it hits City Service Road. So that's where your infrastructure is at through there. There are service lines that shoot through what used to be known as Rempt Street, that shoots across Colorado, then shoots across City Service Road and goes behind the house. One of the big things we found out during this investigation is that the house that has the well location and the building permit, that is actually county property. The Suitors have been paying city taxes on it as a whole, so no matter what decisions made here, the county is going to get with the Department of Revenue and split that out so to remove the property taxes from. So on slide 3, I just laid out the different certificate of surveys and the timelines when everything was there. In 1970, the Pilgrims, under resolution 1110, abandoned that portion of Kootenai Street because the easement took away a lot of their property for the 25-foot stormwater easement through that property. So going on to the next one, which would be slide 4, this would be the slide if the city decided to abandon it. You would see that the house to the left-hand side, regardless, again, that is going to be removed from the city rolls. But the lot line adjustment would clean up these lots for future use. And it would clean it up for the suitors and for the city to make sure that there wouldn't be any hiccups in the future like we've had on a few places around here. For example, with the hospital and with Marlene Harriet's open house. One of the things that would have to be done, we'd have to get a notarized letter from the Pilneys to have it filed with the clerk and recorder. And they have to say they recognize that they would never have future access to that property, and if the two blocks that were already given to them, Kootenai Street, the other one, were ever tried to be sold off, that they would have to give a permanent easement across the other portion of their property. And Noah County said that would be acceptable on that part. So what I did is on slide 5, I kind of went over the gains and losses with the abandonment option. Now that we understand where it is, the city is going to have to start maintaining that property if the suitors do not. So the city would gain not maintaining the property, like for the weeds. We could look at a future water main extension if services are requested to go onto the newly developed properties. We'd have taxation on future buildings. With the adjustment of lot lines, there would be lots large enough to build on. So it may not affect us now, but it may affect us in the future. And with that future growth, it would make up for the loss of the lighting and street maintenance that we're going to lose from that other property going to the county. What we would lose, we'd lose the taxes on the existing property, but that cannot be helped. That's going to be unavoidable. And we will lose minimal to no street usage. There's nothing we can really store on that block. So the suitors would gain no city taxes on that existing property, which is, again, unavoidable. This would clean up the deeds and create usable lots for the use for future sale or inheritance or anything for them. The suitors would have to start maintaining that property, which they already do. They'd also have to pay for a future water main extension if they wanted to run services down City Service Road. City taxation on any future buildings in the newly created lots. And there's currently an RV there, and RVs are not allowed to be lived in within city limits. So they are going to lose that ability to have that there. So the non-abandonment option, the city gains nothing. We'll just keep that there. But we will have to start maintaining the property. We will not get city taxes on the existing property that's getting separated out by the county, and we wouldn't get taxation on future buildings. The suitor gains are not going to pay taxes on the existing property, which again is unavoidable. And they're going to lose the ability to clean up their deeds to create more usable lots for property. And regardless, they're going to have to lose the RV living within the city limits. On slide 7, I went ahead and looked at all the taxes. And just the way it stands now, the yellow marks on here, which is 1, 2, 3 alpha and 7, those are actually county properties. And then 3B, this is where it's going to be created new with no regardless of the decision. So when I did all the estimate, right now we're going to lose about $159 a year in city taxes until if the city abandons it or to the suitors and they build something on it. Then we would gain that finances back on that. So that's my little report on this, Madam Mayor. If there's any questions from the council.
Does council have questions for Mr. Sachs on any of these slides?
Thank you very much for all the information.
I know it was a lot of work to get to that point.
I certainly appreciate the clarity on a lot of this. I would have no objections in taking it forward through the process for a public hearing in case anybody else has issues with it. So I would make a motion that we approve that.
I do have a question.
Okay, just a second. Let her finish her motion.
Sorry, I was just going to make a motion that we go forward with the petition process.
Could you have a second?
Second.
Okay, now you may ask a question.
Sorry. On slide 5, it says pay for future water main extension with services. Do you have a ballpark estimate of how much that would?
Actually, I do. When I was looking at down there, we're figuring it's going to be roughly 500 feet. So for the engineering, $10,000, Mobility, and this was using Chris Noble's numbers right off the new project over here on Spruce Street. Mobilization demob would be 25 grand, traffic control 2,500. Asphalt to take it in, or to take it out and put it in would be 82.5. The water main itself would be 25,000. The 3 different elbows 4,500. The valves 6,000, and a fire hydrant 10,000 for just over 165,000. However, Jeff is a plumber, so he might be able to get that reduced a little bit by doing some of the work himself. But it still has to be engineered and it still has to be completed with licensed plumber.
And approved by DEQ.
Yep.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Any other?
And that's all, so, just to clarify, that's all on the developers.
That is 100% on the homeowners that are requesting the services.
Any other comments or questions regarding this? Mr. Suter, Lisa, did you want to say something?
And you guys have said everything there is to say, I think,
Okay.
especially with this new report here.
Okay, so are there any public comments on this abandonment to the suitors? Any public comments, Mr. Orr?
There were no copies of the report available for the public.
Would you like to see?
Okay. So any public comments? Any public comments? Mr. Orr, do you want to say something?
As is so common here, by the time we get the information and have a chance to read it, I don't have time to formulate a comment. Thank you.
Okay, there will be another opportunity if this moves forward. So, if there are no other comments, I would bring it back to the council. All in favor of the motion to move forward with this abandonment?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so it's 4-2, or did I miss your?
Voted aye.
Aye, okay, so it's 4-2. We will move forward at the next meeting. We will get it, as long as we have the timeline to be able to get it published correctly. We will move forward with the next meeting with this abandonment, okay, with the resolution. Yes,
Was this not online with the packet?
it was,
online.
yes, it was online.
Yeah.
Yes, it was online with the
I
packet,
thought so.
yes. So, that moves us to approve ordinance 2056. Ms. Smith, there was a memo in our agenda explaining what's been done.
Yes,
So go ahead.
thank you, Madam Mayor. The ordinance committee met about 10 days ago at the request of city administration to evaluate prolonged parking of trailers and things on city rights of way. So some language was put forward, and we have the ordinance before you. We also recommended including a right-of-way definition because sometimes folks are confused by what that means. So hopefully having a definition helps clarify. So the proposal is to add language to our chapter 1024, stopping, standing, and parking, to vehicles title, and it would add the words boat, utility trailer, or RV under section A. And then subsection 15, new language that says upon any street of right-of-way, notwithstanding designated parking areas and duration. So we have some streets that the rights of way extend into, or grassy areas, I should say, extend into the rights of way. There's no curbing, there's no sidewalks, and folks have taken it upon themselves to park in that area, and it makes it difficult for city crews to successfully execute their jobs. So this was the recommendation that came out of ordinance committee.
Okay. I will read the preamble to that ordinance. Ordinance number 2056, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Libby, Montana, amending Title 1, Chapter 1, Section 104, to add right-of-way definition, and Title 10, Chapter 24, to control parking upon the city's right-of-way. Whereas the City of Libby adopted ordinance number 743, adding definitions in 1973, and whereas the City of Libby adopted ordinance number 750, enacting parking codes in 1973, and whereas the city has identified safety concerns of pedestrians being blocked from walking on sideways walks, the inability to plow snow without liability, and reducing visibility for drivers to identify hazards, all caused by residents parking upon the city right-of-way. And whereas the city has identified the lack of the specific and simplified municipal code to deter residents from parking upon the city right-of-way, and whereas the city desires to facilitate a uniform enforcement mechanism to enhance safety throughout the city. Now therefore be ordained by the City Council of the City of Libby, Montana by Title 1, Chapter 1, and Title 10, Chapter 24 of the Libby Municipal Code is amended as follows, and as has been summarized. So,
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2056.
I'll second.
Okay, so are there any questions or comments regarding this ordinance? Okay. Any public comments regarding this ordinance? Any public comments? This is the first reading. We will have another second reading at our next meeting in July. So are there any public comments? So the council does not have any other comments or questions. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will move it on to the second reading. Brings us to all claims received to date.
Make a motion to approve all claims received to date.
Second.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions on the claims?
I did. On the city sewage claims, there was a contested charge for a Netflix account with a California phone number.
It was cleared off of our accounts.
Okay. All right. Then no more questions.
Okay. Any other questions? Then I'll open it for public comments on the claims. Public comments on the claims. Public comments on the claims. So, bringing it back to council, all in favor of the motion to approve claims?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Those claims are approved. Brings us to business license applications. Home Hug Care and Care Supply LLC. DBA as in Napa.
Make a motion to approve all business license applications received to date.
Second.
Okay. Any questions on these two business licenses? Any public comments on these two business licenses? Public comments? Any public comments? Then all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Those two business licenses are approved. We have concluded all of our unfinished business, so we have none hanging out there at this moment. That brings us to general comments from the council.
I was wondering if anyone heard how the baseball tournaments went this weekend. I was out of town, so I didn't get to see anything. Or the firefighter convention.
I think it was all well received.
I was down there, and
I was out of town too.
on Sunday, I heard the loggers won out.
Oh, nice.
That was on Saturday. So.
Yeah, cool. So there were a lot of people, a lot of businesses, seeing a lot of, especially restaurants. I know the motels were full.
Good.
So it was a good weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of events going on. Seems like every weekend now. I know. I'm going to do a little plug for this Saturday for the Summer Solstice Family event down on Mineral.
Okay.
It's got some vendors and games and snow cones and it's fun.
Okay. Any other? Yes.
On the 26th at 7 is the second town hall meeting for the city government study commission.
Okay. Okay. Any other? I'm sorry.
I was just clarifying that that's June. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Any other council comments? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.